and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be there in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so. Oh, Danny boy, oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
Fantastic.
You liked it?
Yes, absolutely. Can
What
you,
are the speakers?
yeah, can you please tell us what the speakers are?
Well, we're running, of course, we're running the API prime signature with the Binaural colibri. We're running that into our Suspiria phone stage, into a symphonic line RG3 preamplifier, also a symphonic line CD player, into the Stratus monos, and then these are the Odyssey liquid speakers. So they are essentially the same identical speakers like our Kismet 2 ways, except we're extending it to 2.5 ways with a bigger everything, which is a problem in this room and a mistake, because we're overloading, because they pressurize like crazy. First of all, the drivers, plus we have several ports in the back, they pressurize, and it's the wrong speaker for this room, for this shit box. But
Yeah.
you know, I made a mistake. I don't have the other ones, so I have to be actually a couple of sounds that I cannot, especially where you guys are right there.
Yeah.
You know, so it's this was the worst. We cleaned this up. No, we cannot do anything about the alcove, and it travels right over there. The difference just when your ear height from here to here makes a huge difference right there. So that's why every time somebody comes in, you guys standing like they're kind of, because you see, well, let's face it, it's your impression about the system, right? You come in here, you can
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, shit. No, it's not. So-
When the music starts, stop.
yeah, but then again, you know, everything, when the music's over.
So who, I'm sorry, who makes the speakers again?
He does.
Oh, and
Klaus.
Klaus.
That's me, and you are?
Doug.
Doug from where?
Doug from Santa Monica.
You have a press pass. Where are you from?
Yes.
What are you doing with?
T.H.E magazine.
Okay. How are you doing that? Oh, I don't know. Bump it away. Come on. All right. No. These are my speakers. So these are the these are the liquids. And essentially, what they are, just like with our Kismet, they're monitors. Really, it's right here. With the Kismet, what we do, we just extend it so that you don't have to have a stand. But here, because we have the extra driver, we can't do that. So there are actually 5 chambers in there, 5 separate chambers.
Wow. Thanks so much, Klaus. Always a pleasure.
Huh?
Your last name, Klaus?
Bunge, B-U-N-G-E. Bunge, Bunge, Bunch.
And you're based in?
Indianapolis, Indiana. Good question. And yes,
I could
I'm
tell
German.
From the accent. I could tell from the accent.
Right.
Obviously, I should have known it was Indianapolis.
Why? Should have known.
Yes.
In the accent?
Yes.
That's very fun.
Quite an arrangement for room scenery.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I knew what kind of dimensions they are, because I knew, of course, what I signed up with. I just didn't know that the dimensions were correct. You're coming here, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
What's your relationship with symphonic line?
I'm working with Rolf for 30 years.
Okay.
So we're working, actually, this gives you an idea. We're doing business for 30 years. We don't have a single contract, everything is handshake. Alright, so this gives you an idea. And so I'm importing, obviously I do some export work for him too, we have my contacts, and we have on the amplifiers and on the temper screen, which I don't have here, so this is a symphonic line. Symphonic line is one of the, for 35 years, he's one of the pioneers, and he's one of the top. But of course you pay money, right? Very expensive. And so that's where we take those. These are the RG11, these are the baby symphonic line amplifiers that we do. And the Cartaro, Stratus, and Kismet just build it up differently. In Germany, right now, the pair is $14,000, depending on exchange rate. And then we take it, we improve upon it, yada, 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 20-year warranty, and we bring the price down, 80, 85, 90%. That's why it's a proverbial no-brainer. That's why we sell thousands, literally thousands and thousands of them over the years.
You sell these for how much now?
Well, starting with the stereo, it starts at $995. These are $2,700. These are the amplifiers. This is a pair that in absolute sound, we got amplifier product of the year, 2 years in a row. 2 years. The second year, just because nothing else came better. And the only reason why I didn't get it 3 years in a row, because they put me aside, dude, we can't do that. Understand. You don't want to do it. There's so much favoritism, right? I understand. Why the fuck not? So so then we build it up in different ways. And ultimately, I can make you literally, not figuratively, but literally 60 or 70, 80 different amplifiers. Because in different cases, Cartaro, Stratus, Kismet, different power supplies, different cables, different board upgrades, yada, yada, yada. So I always base it on 2 things after we talk. Well, first of all, we have to talk and see if it works. With a money-back guarantee, if it's a mismatch or if it's not what you want, I'm not selling it to you, what's the point, right? It's also one of the reasons why we hardly ever get any back. Because I refuse sales from time to time, believe it or not. But, your speaker, synergy, 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 synergy. Synergy is the single most important part of the system. That's why if you put a well put together $5,000, $10,000 system, that can beat the crap out of a $20,000, $25,000 Nilly Willy system, easy. And within the synergistic system, synergistic matching, the single most important part is between the amplifier and the speaker. The speaker is still the big question mark, because it's the only one that is really, truly subjective. First of all, it's a piece of furniture, so nobody wants to live with ugly, let's face it. Number 2 is, by definition, it's a piece of shit. It's the transducer. Even the most common $50 Best Buy CD player will be 500 times more accurate than the best speaker system. It just will be. So what you have is you buy speakers because you like certain things that floats your boat. In case of Maggie, for example, it's the openness. In case of electrostats, for example, it's the detail orientation, right? What you want to do then is you don't want to mask shortcomings, because there will always be shortcomings. If you do that, you're chasing your tail and you just get frustrated and blow money. So you have to know, first of all, who you are, what you like. Are you an emotional listener? Goosebumps, turn off the lights. Or are you an intellectual listener where you want to get the last detail out of it? Now, once you get this one in your own mind, who you are, then you're already so far ahead of the game, and you avoid, paying, penalties later in terms of money or in terms of enjoyment of the system. I'm completely 100% emotional. I want to turn off the light, close your eyes, and drift away and get my goosebumps on, And you should do that. You should be able to listen 3, 4, 5 hours and just forget about everything else. Be exhausted, get your emotional orgasm after you're done, and kind of, that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter how you get there. You can have a Bose system, you can have $1 million system. Once you're there, but you have to get there first. And what you do is, you don't mask shortcomings, because there will always be some. There is no silver bullet. Instead, you bring out what you already like in the first place, what floats your boat, and that really, really does help you enjoying the system. Now, there are a couple of other things, obviously, if you have problems, in your relationship or financial problems or whatever job, that always kind of never clears your mind. The other thing is, physically, the worst time to really enjoy listening is the first 2 hours after you eat, because the whole, process, actually pushes pressure on your ears and so on and so forth. There's a whole kind of subculture on that one. But ultimately, just as a general, is get it where whatever you enjoy, whenever you're in the mood for it, and you will be able to really enjoy the hobby, which is all about. It's not about the system. This is a means to get to your enjoyment with music. End of story. That's what it is.
Where did you source the drivers from?
These are ScanSpeak Revelator and ScanSpeak Beryllium. And I'm doing this shit now for 30 years. So if you ask me in the 30 years, and again, with Odyssey now, I'm importing everything else, but Odyssey sold over 9,000 products, so we have quite a few customers out there, quite a bit of experience over the years in terms of listening. If you're asking me, is there one thing, just one thing in the 30 years that I regard as the best, the absolute best? Yes, there's actually one thing, right here. That Beryllium tweeter. A lot of people like the Royals and whatever, I understand it, but the Beryllium, ScanSpeak Beryllium, not the other Berylliums. Of course, it's $550 or $580 a piece, right? So it better be better, better be good. But this particular unit is so out of the world for several reasons. For one, it's very easy to integrate in a design. For two, it really, even though it's Beryllium, of course you have all the emotions and everything else, but it's not beamy, it has a nice dispersion rate, so you actually have a pretty good area where you can sit, and it never ever gets into the brightness. You cannot tip it over where it's getting aggressive, which is incredible. So this is fantastic, yes. And then of course, the complement with the ScanSpeak drivers and everything else. By the way, I need a couple of, what we can do to avoid the pressurizing? Get a tennis ball, get a couple of tennis balls, or something to, not socks, socks will not be doing. But that's because we're pressurizing over here. Mm-hmm. So let's finish up the port, and then we're taking a lot of pressure from the rear wall over there. So we can do that. We can do it later.
Can
All
you
right.
play some jazz?
Oh, does a bear shit in the woods?
In Germany?
Good question. I don't know if they're
Maybe in the Black Forest. Milton. Where? Milton. Yeah. I think it's Milton. Where they got the JBLs on the 3rd floor.
Good to see you, Klaus. Thanks so much.